Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is exciting to be here. We have two fantastic gentlemen with us, two fantastic actors, playing dwarves in the movie trailer we just saw, which was pretty cool, right? They can hear you, so it was pretty cool, right? By raising hands, who saw that for the first time just now? Wow, that's too many people. I'll call Warner's marketing as soon as this is over. We'll get on that. That might be all the housekeeping. So the exciting part comes. Our first guest plays the dwarf with the beautiful axe embedded in his head. A fine man, a fine actor, and a fierce warrior, William Kircher. Next, we have the most fierce headbutting dwarf I've ever seen. A guy who's as friendly as can be, but kind of imposing. He's an intimidating fellow. He cuts quite a figure. He's been in video games, in movies, and television, and of course in The Hobbit. It is Graham McTavish.
Very much.
Yeah.
After.
That happens in the bar.
Yeah. If there's trouble.
Well, welcome, guys. Have you enjoyed DragonCon so far? Have you had fun?
Yes. Yes. It's great. It's amazing. Oh my God. We're just, overwhelmed is putting it mildly.
It's incredible. We love you guys.
Yeah.
You've been so welcoming to us.
Yeah.
You know, and we've come from the far reaches of the planet, and we love you guys. You know, you're just so welcoming, and it's been wonderful.
You guys are so nice.
I know! We are, but so are you. So, you know, it's back and forth. Love you right back.
All right, guys, so we've talked a lot in the panels where we've been together so far this week about your characters, and I thought it would be fun, since we have only 2 instead of 3 or 4 of us, if we could just hear a little bit about your personal lives. So if it's a day off, you have a day of leisure, and you're not filming some blockbuster $1 million grossing movie, what do you guys do for fun? I think we'd love to know.
What do I do for fun? Well, in terms of things that I enjoy, I like drawing. I'm quite a keen little sketcher, so I enjoy doing that. Books, I read books constantly. I've always got a book with me, so I tear through books. And when I'm not, training to be Dwarven, I love to cycle. I do long distance cycle rides. So I'm planning. I don't know if you know. There's a great cycle in Britain called Land's End to John O'Groats, which is the length of the country, and I'm hoping to do that late next year. So that's my plan next year. But you should all come. We could all do it together.
That is so cool. It's my turn. All right.
Your turn.
Oh, look, Larry, just before we came on, he asked me that question, and I thought, oh my gosh, But there's a couple of things. My wife and I have a band, and we're called the California Dreamers, which was...
They're very good as well.
I know. And what we do is we really enjoy, and yes, Graham's seen us.
Yeah.
We like to enjoy late 60s music, between about 65 and 70. It's fun, it's more of a show. Check us out on Facebook, but it's more that kind of whole hippie kind of thing. It's enjoying that whole Woodstock thing. So we do that. That's one thing I do in my spare time. We play lots of wineries and festivals. But the other thing is that I've, not too recently started to enjoy is I have a vehicle which is called a Land Rover Defender. Now, a Land Rover Defender, you never see them here, but they're a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Best 4x4 by far. And so every now and then I like to get in my Land Rover Defender and go out into rough country or, you know, off the track, off the beaten track.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. It's fun. It's funny actually.
You
Because
never invited me.
quite often I get people say, "Do you go off road?" And I say, "Hell yeah, I go up on the curb." So anyway, I get my car sometimes and go out and really enjoy that. It's fun. I don't go crazy, but you know, just get out and about. Oh my God, it's Biffa!
It's baby Biffa.
And now he has to speak in Dwarvish.
Oh no, he can't speak Dwarvish. You tell him about this.
Look, guys, look, one of the things for here, and Graham didn't bring his, but
He's resting
the
upstairs.
presents you guys have given us are amazing. Not all of you right now here, you know, but some of you. Incredible. So this is Mini Biff. Hello. Lo akaradi do. I am Mini Biff. Is that? We got our luck, we've got them all, here they are. Hello! Oh, no, so Biffy doesn't talk like that, does he?
No.
Amanizu. There we go. So anyway, the gifts have been fantastic. These, look, people made these, but these aren't even ones you buy in the shop, and I'd just like to say it's such a big thank you to the guys that made these for us, because my gosh, it's such an honour. You know, I was saying yesterday, being a Lego, a Lego toy is an honour, but just, you know, having people come up and give this kind of stuff, incredible.
Very beautiful. Oh, and there's more.
There's heaps more. I just get back the trucker. So there you go. Thank you to everybody for these.
Very nice.
So there's a pretty powerful emotional moment in that first film when the dwarves are gathered in Bag End and you join in song, you kind of come together.
Yeah.
Was singing part of the rehearsal? I mean, not the audition. Did they look for singers or did they look out?
No. I never was asked. I got a phone call after I got the job from Philippa Boyens, one of the producers and writers, and she said, "Just one question. Do you sing?" And I said, "Well," I said, "put it this way. You wouldn't pay to watch me sing on my own in a concert, but I can hold a tune." And then, lo and behold, we all end up doing Blunt the Knives and the Misty Mountains, and the Misty Mountains that day was really amazing when we filmed that. That was genuinely moving for us as well. Yeah, it was beautiful, beautifully lit as well. I remember Andrew Lesney did an incredible job on that scene.
Yes, it was amazing. They actually, most actors, and I don't know, are there any actors in the audience tonight? Hands up, any actors? Well, you'll know that most actors can actually hold a bit of a tune every now and then. And so what they did is, as part of our preparation process, they did help train us with the composers that worked on those songs. We worked with them over a period of several weeks in the studios, shaping those songs and how they might end up singing. And then we went into the studio and we kind of did it piece by piece. But it was an honour to be involved in, to actually really be singing those songs in the actual film. It was an incredible thing. Not many people get a chance to do that, unless they're in a musical.
Yeah, of course. Which The Hobbit almost is with all those songs. There's quite a lot.
Yeah, there are.
So that's really actually quite interesting that you could feel that on set that day. So when you later saw that in the film, in context, what was that like?
Well, the thing was, although I know that what you hear, the song in the movie, is what we recorded in the recording studio, not on set, but we sang the song live on set. And it was the singing of the song on set that gave it that real emotional weight, hopefully, in terms of the performances that we did in that scene. Because it made a massive difference. They had the playback, so they played the tune, and then we sang it. And we did it many times, but it was beautiful every single time. Yeah. They really wanted.
Thank you.
Oh,
Wow!
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, we're not going to sing.
Hey, I might sing it at
3
the end.
days of Dragon Con, you know, he's singing. I'll tell you that.
If my singing coach is here, I'll give it a shot. But I don't know if she is, so we'll just wait and see if she turns up.
So we asked what you guys personally do for leisure time. What about your characters when they're not on quests for dragons? What do those
Dwalin doesn't
guys
have
do?
leisure time. Are you kidding? Dwalin doesn't relax. Exactly. No, what do you think that we do as dwarves when we're... Yeah, just actually an interesting question, and one I hadn't actually thought about before. I think we often speculated as to what their home life was like. You know, were they married? I mean, Bomber has 14 children?
Yeah, that's right.
14 children. So I think he took all the children of all of the rest of us. So none of the rest of us were able to have children.
Have you seen dwarf women?
They're gorgeous.
I know. They're beautiful. Beards,
No, they're lovely.
long hair.
They're lovely. There's
I
nothing
know.
wrong with them. Beautiful.
What was that?
Well, I can't hear you, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. He should be running.
Right, yeah. No, our home life, yeah, I think, well, in terms of Dwalin, I think he's somebody that, I don't think he's very good at relaxing. I get that feeling. I think that he's always trying to do something and probably gets into a little bit of trouble when he hasn't got something useful to do. So, yeah, I get that feeling. But I don't know what Biffa does.
Well, Biffa, the axe in Biffa's head is an organ,
Yeah, it's a bit
so
of a
he's
drawback.
been through some serious crap a long time ago. We kind of actually did, because we all, you know, you like to invent a backstory for your character. So my personal backstory is that I'd gone through a situation where I had family members murdered in an orc raid. And that's where I got wounded. And that's my own, that's nothing to do with the book, that's nothing to do with anything. That is something that I carry with me in through the film, because that gives me a reason to have this. The other reason I have this is I'm looking for the orc that did it for me. But in my downtime, Biffa is probably just staring into space, wondering where the hell he is and who these people are. Who are these people? Who are these people? I know and I do not know these people.
So, pretty safe to say, all of these folks would love to have been involved with The Hobbit if they could have been. However, it's a huge commitment to make a movie like this. These movies, in fact. Was there ever hesitation before you took that, decided, yes, I'm going to do it?
No.
Hell no. Oh, look, that is an interesting question. There's something I want to talk about Peter Jackson. Because was a bit of cynicism in the media about Peter Jackson taking on these films after the first director could not do them. Now, we were at a party right when we started with Peter, and I was sitting talking to him, and it suddenly occurred to me that he made a commitment that's 5 years out of his life. And if you make a commitment to something, at least, to 5 years out of your life, you've only got so many chunks of 5 years in your entire life to commit to something.
Yeah.
So for goodness sake, Peter Jackson is not going to commit to The Hobbit out of some kind of cynical business reason. He is a very, very artistic, creative person. He's going to commit to it because it's taking 5 years out of his life, and he's got to put aside all his other movies and all his other things for that 5 years. That's a huge commitment. And that sort of made me think, you know, these people that we're working with, they're in it for the right reasons. And the right reasons are the passion and the creativity to realise the story to the best of his possible experience, the best thing that he can do. And that's what it was like working with him every single day. And that's what we worked. We worked so hard. And you work so hard because you're working for somebody that has that passion and that drive.
I mean, one of the things that I was always aware of whenever I put on that costume and whenever I had the prosthetic applied was that however that there may have been, you know, moments where you felt uncomfortable or hot or tired or whatever, but I always reminded myself how lucky I was to be in that position. And I took that very seriously, and I tried to bring that every day to the set. And Peter does the same, and William's right that Peter leads the way in terms of that. He takes his responsibility towards these stories very, very seriously. And we felt a great responsibility to the legacy of what he had created with Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
And behaved accordingly. And it was a privilege. And it was a very sad day when it finished. Yeah, very sad.
I'd love to know what you guys thought, how you heard about it.
Well, we had already shot, we'd shot most, we'd done 2 whole blocks of filming, months and months of filming, and we had filmed an enormous amount. And Peter and Fran and Philippa came to realize that if they were going to make this into 2 films, that a great deal of the footage that we'd already shot would not make it into the movies. And Peter decided that he would rather tell the story over a 3-film span rather than 2, so that he could accommodate the amount of footage that we already had. But he also made the point that anything that's in those films, pretty much everything that's in them, is drawn from the appendices that Tolkien himself wrote. So it wasn't just invented completely out of nothing. And I can tell you this now. I mean, having gone through filming them and seen most of the second film, by the time that 3rd film is over, you're going to want a 4th one. You are. You are. And you're going to be, I watched the end of the second film last week when I was doing ADR, and it wasn't completely done, in terms of CG or anything like that, but the end of that film, the hairs on the back of my neck went up. It was...
What happened?
It's,
Spoiler alert.
It was incredible. So, and I do think, I mean, speaking personally, I enjoy the savouring of that experience. I really do. It was the same when I watched Lord of the Rings myself. I loved knowing that when that film was over, there was still another one to look forward to. And I hope that that's how people will feel about these.
Look, what he said. No, we just, they started to put together the film and they started to realise they had so much good stuff, it would be so sad to lose all that good stuff and never see it. So the decision, as far as we know, I mean, sure, it is a good fiscal decision for a studio to turn it into a trilogy, but that's actually not where it came from. It came from the heart of, once again, a very creative personality to want to tell the story properly and to be able to, and so, that is exactly where it comes from.
So we'll start on this side.
There's a question I wanted to ask about the character of Basil.
Yeah.
Was he originally in the development when the development started, or was he something that came up at the last minute?
Yeah, no, he was always in it. He was always in it.
Always there.
Yeah, the difference was that they started with our actual practical prosthetic version of Azog, but they were never quite happy with the way it looked. We went through, I think, three versions before they settled on the one that Manu Bennett is giving. And I have to say, he's done a fantastic job. He's done a fantastic job.
Yes.
But
he's brilliant. Manu is brilliant. It's an honour to work with him and to be on screen with him. But what Graham says is exactly right. This is one of the big deals about this film, and I'm sharing this with you in a kind of an intimate way because we never say this kind of stuff. But it's an organic process making a film like this.
Yeah.
And that means that things change all the time, but they change all the time. That's part of the beauty of it. So they don't make a decision and then 3 years later that decision is followed through. Every day they are prepared to change.
Yeah.
Every day you come to the set and Peter will say, well, he won't say, but you have an opportunity when the opportunity is right to present an idea that might change things or change things in the background. That's part of the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And so Azog that's an absolute example of that. They weren't happy. It happened with our makeup. Our first versions of our makeup.
Oh yeah.
We went through makeup tests. They weren't happy. We even shot some stuff, and then they actually wanted to to start fixing up and changing the makeup.
Yeah,
and that
they
went through
reshot it. They reshot that
the
stuff.
entire process, an organic, creative process of change, because that's what life is actually really like.
Well,
It's
and
about
they want to
change.
make. I think that they want to make each film as good as it possibly can be, and so Peter is not shy of making really quite tough, hard decisions, and decisions that will, somebody could have been creating something over weeks and weeks, months and months of some fantastic idea that may have come out of Weta, and then on the day, Peter will just say, no, it's not working. We need to change it. And they go back, and it's like that idea is gone. Months, hundreds and hundreds of hours of work gone, and they'll come back with something better. And but that's what makes the difference between a visionary, which is what Peter is, and just somebody who's just doing the job. Peter would be sitting here, and he'd be on what we call the voice of God. And it would be like this, and he'd go, okay, if you could just get ready, and you're gonna need to really run. Like don't, really move, like fast. And we're going, yep, okay, yep. And he goes, okay, and action. And then you would run the length of this room, and then at the end of it, you'd be sort of, bent over double, practically puking, because you'd run with 70 pounds of equipment on your back. And then he'd go, yeah, that was good. It just needs to be faster. Yep, so that was tough. Scene 88 was really tough. Those wargs really took us all over the shop.
But every day, actually, was an adventure. Things would happen on days that you just couldn't believe. And the sad thing for us, it's fantastic for us as actors, but we just want to share so much with you guys about what happens over the next two films and all the adventures we have. Because you get on set and you find out stuff that and then you think, I can't believe they're doing this.
Well, one thing we can talk about, because you have seen it in the trailer, is the barrel sequence in the second film. That was probably my favourite part in terms of fun, sheer fun, and that was uncomfortable. There's no doubt about it, and tiring, and very dangerous. William nearly died. In fact, he nearly got swept away.
Yeah, no big deal. And I went under.
He went under.
Once you go under, it's very hard to get up. But never
Because
mind.
we were in barrels. And this is something that when you're reading it in a script, you didn't consider. It says dwarves, barrels, river, rapids, etc. And you're reading that, and you're thinking, that sounds amazing. Yeah. Obviously, the stunt guys will be doing that. But Peter brought us. At one stage, he took us to the Pelorus River, which is a beautiful river in the top of the South Island in Nelson. If you ever get the chance, you should definitely go visit that part. It's beautiful. And when we were doing that sequence, he brought us out to this promontory. And forgive me if any of you have heard this before, but he brought us out to a promontory and said, let's just show them what the barrels look like. And around the corner, in this whitewater river, appeared a stuntman in a wetsuit and a crash helmet.
Bouncing around like
swimming,
it was all, wow.
Swimming
Cool.
like this, in the barrel, and then he swam towards the shore against the current, and then he tips himself out of the barrel like a scuba diver and gets onto the beach. Fantastic. And Peter just went, yep, so, shall we shoot it? And we were led, like the proverbial lambs to the slaughter, down to a beach. We were put into barrels, and we were all too shocked to actually say anything. We were just like, right.
Well, we're going in real barrels
Real
in
barrels.
a real river.
In our costumes.
In a really quite kind of dangerous, deep river
Yeah.
some rapids. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we did that about, I think it was 5 times in a row.
Incredible. Until it flooded. You guys would have, I don't know, it was on the thing, and then it started to rain. We were pushing to get the shot, and the next day, man, everything was wiped out.
They built a whole scaffolding platform out into the river for the cameras. It was enormous, bringing the equipment down. And that entire scaffolding platform was swept away by the flood. I mean, there was nothing left. the next day.
If
So
there was an Academy Award for scaffolding, the guys on The Hobbit would win hands down. They did feats of engineering like you wouldn't believe.
They take you into places that most people never ever go in New Zealand because it's a Department of Conservation land, so you're not actually allowed to go there.
You're not allowed to walk on the plants.
Yeah, so you're dropped in by helicopter, and then you are left to it. You know, walkie-talkie, guy in a helicopter, action, and then you're running or doing something.
Not just a helicopter, 10 helicopters.
Yeah, it was like a fleet of them. It was
10
amazing.
helicopters.
It was really
All day.
incredible.
Pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
I'd never been in a helicopter before, and it was very.
And the other funny thing is, this is Mr. Graham McTavish, he would get up to these incredible remote locations, and he'd say, "Can I get a flat white?" And, which is a coffee in New Zealand, it's a coffee, and somebody would say, "Yeah, sure."
They'd flown in. They had actually flown in the espresso bar. I'm not joking. They had flown it in. And I remember one of the most extraordinary sights. We were sitting in this incredibly remote location near Mount Cook in the middle of the South Island. I mean, there's nothing. And I looked up and there was a helicopter flying over with a chemical toilet just arriving to deposit the toilet, well, which was very handy, obviously, we needed that, but an espresso bar. I mean, that's impressive. They had 2 baristas, and their sole job was to make those coffees when we were on location. Amazing. Yeah.
But it wasn't all glamour.
No.
I'm going to actually interject a question. Obviously, pretty cool experience. It goes without saying. Is there some relief as an actor knowing that the behind-the-scenes guys documented all that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those behind-the-scenes guys, Michael Pellerin, Pam Harvey White, who produced that section of the film. They had a unit all to themselves. You know, they had a Steadicam. They had a helicopter. They had 3D lenses. They had so much. And they documented every aspect of the production. I think there are going to be nearly 15 hours of extra features, special features on the first extended run. Amazing thing.
You couldn't do anything without having a camera in your face.
I'm surprised they're not here now.
We actually, they probably are. We actually had to call a halt to it when they wanted to put one in the dressing room where we take off all our gear because they came around, "Oh, do you mind if we put a camera when you're stripping?"
They wanted to film they wanted to film the stripping. I mean, I just thought, and I said to them, "Really? Yeah, I don't know." Anyway, yeah, they're amazing anyway.
So audience, are we looking forward to the extended editions and the behind the scenes?
Hey, I've got a question for the audience. What'd you think of the trailer? Because we saw it, they took us to see it at Camperdown, it was a cinema, or was it Park Road Post, at a cinema, and we got to see it in 3D in 48 frames. Only people in the world that got to see that, and we were wiped away. Everybody was like, wow, because already it seems like it's ramped it up a whole nother degree from the first film. You guys are going to love it. It is going to be insane.
Next question on this side.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. I have a question. You've you spent several years as Bifur and Dwalin. Do you find yourselves now adapting to situations and acting like Bifur and Dwalin at times? Like,
Wow.
do you prefer chocolate chip cookies or?
Yeah. Well, the thing about Dwalin, I don't know. I mean, William will speak for Bifur, but the thing about Dwalin is that I based him slightly, not completely, but slightly on my father. That kind of, I mean, if anyone's been to Scotland, there's a particular dour kind of Scot who just does and is not easily impressed. He's not easy to trust people, and he is prone to violence. Not that my father was. I hasten to add, my father was never, but I mean, well, to people outside the house, there were moments where he got really upset. But only in protecting his family, I had to. But yeah, and I based it on him and on a lot of people in Scotland that I knew. I mean, there are Dwarves all over Scotland. There are. You go into any bar in Scotland. In fact, I will demonstrate. It's a very short story. I will demonstrate the kind of thing you can expect. A friend of mine went into a bar in Scotland, and this is a true story. And he had just been dumped by his girlfriend. He was, heartbroken. He was heartbroken. And he found himself sitting next to a Scotsman who had a big beard, the whole deal. And he said, as you do in pubs in Britain, you end up talking to these guys, pouring your heart out. And he poured his heart out to this guy for 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. I thought we were going to really make a life together, and it was completely out of the blue, and I don't know what to do, I'm so upset, and I can't sleep, and I don't think I can find another girl like her, and it went on for like 20 minutes. And at the end of it, he kind of ran out of steam, eventually just stopped. And the Scotsman turned to him, and I'm going to need William to help me. The Scotsman turned to him, and he just went, "Show me your hand." And he took his hand like that, and he looked at it, and he went, "Do you know what I see?" And the guy went, "Oh my God," he thought, "Wow, this guy's like deep. He's like clairvoyant. He's going to really tell me something." He goes, "Do you know what I see?" And the guy went, "I see weakness!" He went, "You're weak, man! Get a grip! Toughen up!" And that's Dwarves.
Well, for me, I'd like to say that I spend a lot of time spaced out and not really knowing where I am. Every now and then, that's absolutely true. But at the end of the day, I'm an actor, and I tend to leave it after the film and go back to my normal life because I've got children.